Hi, welcome to Sparel. Sparel is a tool to help you come up with better decisions and solutions. It's similar to a mind mapping tool, except it does things a little differently. Most mind mapping tools let you map anything you want. Sparel, on the other hand, structures your map using the practices of science. This approach gives Sparel the power to learn more about your problem, and with its powerful insights engine, help guide you towards core solutions instead of band-aid workarounds. Sparel works best on problems that might have more than one solution, like strategizing who to hire, deciding the approach of a project that you're working on, to figuring out how to streamline business processes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to solve a problem in Sparel. Before we begin, let's come up with a hypothetical problem. Let's say we're a well-known bicycle manufacturer. All of our frame manufacturing and assembly are done in-house. Since COVID, the demand for bikes has gone up, and we're having a difficult time keeping up with production. We want to figure out how to increase the number of bikes we produce to meet demand. First, let's create a project. It's important to note that when you're filling out the name and description, that you don't introduce any bias, so don't provide any solutions or opinions here. Once you save your project, you'll be taken to the map view. Let's start by storming the board. Clicking on the Add button at the project level will allow you to add a question, hypothesis, fear, uncertainty, or constraint. A question is a way of finding more information. It's important to keep an open mind at this stage. There are no stupid questions, and creativity is encouraged. A hypothesis is an assumption that you might have, like integrating automation will allow us to make more bikes. Fear is something you're scared of, or something you feel that is buried deep inside. Like maybe you're scared that increasing bike production will cause burnout. Uncertainty is something you're unsure of, like maybe you're not sure if increasing bike production will positively impact the company. And a constraint is something that might limit the solution, like maybe budget constraints, or maybe you have limited resources. Let's start by adding a hypothesis. We believe that we can increase output by adding automation. We can also increase our workforce. We also spoke to some people and there were some concerns about quality, so let's add a fear. Fear, uncertainty, and constraints are important tools. They help us dig deep and discover creative solutions. In this example, diving into fear might reveal that if we choose to scale through automation, we may want to add more human touches at certain points. We also had some questions. You may also wish to add additional information to your questions, hypothesis, fear, constraints, and uncertainties. Everything you enter helps Sparel learn more about your problem. As you build out your problem, Sparel begins to look at your mental map. It tries to give you insight into what to do next. In this case, adding a constraint seems to stand out. Because we're a small company, our budget is limited. Now that we've added some baseline questions, hypotheses, constraints, and fears, let's start by exploring some of these deeper. At this level of the map, you can add experiments, models, and resources. In Sparel, experiments can be anything, from a real-world experiment to a test against your mental model. Like, maybe we want to test how long it takes for a person to weld a frame, because we can use that information to figure out how many additional people we need. Experiments are a fun way to test your hypothesis or answer any questions. Models are representations that you can use to observe, describe, explain, or predict. In Sparel, models can be anything, like spreadsheets with calculations, software simulations, mental models, or physical simulations. Your model will typically live outside of Sparel, so you'll want to provide a reference to it in the description. We decided that it would be useful to create a visualization of the automation process to better understand how it will fit within our business. We found a great book on automation, which we can apply to this problem, so we're going to add a new resource. Resources in Sparel are simply references to books, links, or papers. Let's look at increasing the workforce idea. Maybe we could use a spreadsheet to calculate our workforce and various factors that might affect production speed. As you run your experiments, it's a good idea to make note of your observations. This will help you build your mental model of the problem and which experiments could lead to a good solution. After working with a few experiments, you may find a single obvious solution. We call this a critical path, and you can set it at any of the questions, hypotheses, fears, uncertainties, and constraints. You may also find that some experiments or models are inconclusive or just dead ends. Setting these will help you narrow down the solution. Now that we have built out a significant portion of the map, you may want to share this with a team to generate more ideas or solve problems as a group. The summary view is a linear perspective of your problem, designed to help you tell a story. If your team is remote and you want to let them edit the map, you can share the entire project. This also allows team members to comment on experiments, resources, and models. I hope you found this video helpful, and I would love to hear about the problems that you're trying to solve. If you have any feedback on Sparel, please let us know by clicking on the feedback button. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.